The Boys isn't just about superheroes. It's about what happens when power gets messy, corporate, and completely out of control. It's violent, twisted, and somehow still hilarious. But behind all the exploding heads and laser eyes are some seriously bizarre facts. Here are 20 weird truths about The Boys you won't believe made it to screen, plus a bonus fact that even Homelander might blush at.
Fuck those fuckers.
Is this entertaining?
Fact 1. The Dolphin scene was originally even worse. Season 1, Episode 4. The deep freeze a dolphin. It flies through the windshield in slow motion, an elegant, wet missile of tragedy. But what you didn't see? That scene was toned down. Originally, the dolphin was supposed to, let's say, get very personal with the deep. We're talking awkward flirtation, eye contact, maybe even a request for affection. Eric Kripke said the network begged them to cut it back. And that version we got? That was already the tame one. Let that sink in. Fact 2. Karl Urban made Billy Butcher more Butcher. In the comics, Billy Butcher is a Cockney thug with a sadistic streak and a love for violence. In the show, he's, well, basically the same. But Karl Urban brought something different. A twisted charm. That iconic line, "Oi, diabolical."
Diabolical.
Wasn't in the script. It was pure Urban. He invented catchphrases, added layers of sarcasm, and made Butcher less of a monster, and more of an anti-hero. He's still dangerous. Still capable of murder without blinking. But thanks to Urban, you kinda like him. And that's what makes him terrifying. Fact 3. Homelander's costume has built-in butt pads, that unshakable, unbreakable, dead-eyed stare, all Anthony Starr. But that chiseled superhero physique? Partially foam. Homelander's suit is one of the most high maintenance in the show. It weighs over 30 pounds, includes cooling tubes, and yes, padded glutes. Why? Because Anthony Starr isn't superhuman. And that cape-clinging backside, that's production design. But here's the kicker. Starr hated the suit so much he called it a prison of sweat and lies. Fact 4. Jack Quaid auditioned without knowing what the show was. When Jack Quaid walked into the casting room, he had no idea he was about to play Huey. The script pages were fake. The character descriptions? Misleading. The only clue? A tone that read like superheroes, but bad. He leaned into the awkward, played it natural, and nailed the part. Only after getting cast did he realize this wasn't some indie drama. It was The Boys, and he was about to get covered in blood, scream at invisible men, and run through exploding heads. Welcome to the 7, kid. Fact 5. Black Noir's actor didn't speak for 2 seasons. On purpose. Nathan Mitchell plays Black Noir, or, more accurately, wore Black Noir. For seasons 1 and 2, Mitchell did everything in silence. Fights, stunts, piano solos, peanut allergy meltdowns. He created a character with no lines, just presence. Every movement was calculated. Every head tilt had purpose. He said it was like playing a mime in a superhero horror show. And when they finally gave Noir a voice, kind of, it wasn't even Mitchell. It was another actor playing his imagination. Only on The Boys. Fact 6. The show uses real animal guts. Sometimes. You'd think all that gore is fake, right? You'd be mostly correct. But in some cases, like Season 1's exploding whale, the show used real animal tissue sourced from ethical suppliers for texture and weight. The inside of that whale? A mix of gelatin, latex, and organic sludge. The cast? Grossed out. Karl Urban? Laughing hysterically. It was disgusting. It was cinematic. It was exactly what The Boys promised. Fact 7. Homelander's laser vision was based on wild animal behavior. Anthony Starr didn't just invent that terrifying death stare, he modeled it on predators. He said he watched footage of lions stalking prey, specifically how they don't blink before striking. That's why Homelander's eyes widen, then freeze, before firing his signature lasers. It's not CGI timing, it's acting. Combine that with Starr's smile, and you've got a man who looks polite until you blink. Then everyone's dead. Fact 8. Queen Maves' armor was designed to reflect real trauma. Dominique McElligott worked closely with costume designers to make sure Maves' armor evolved with her character. In Season 1, it's pristine. By Season 2, it's scratched, dented, battle-worn, because Maeve stopped pretending. Even her boots were changed from high heels to flats after McElligott complained, "How am I supposed to outrun Homelander in stilettos?" The armor told a story, a woman breaking free piece by piece, until all that was left was the warrior underneath. Fact 9, the show's exploding head scene used compressed air cannons. Season 2's courtroom scene is a masterclass in shock. One by one, heads pop. No warning, no logic. Just red mist and screams. That effect? Compressed air cannons loaded with fake blood, built into prosthetic heads worn by real actors. They filmed it in slow motion, with dozens of cleanup resets. And their crew wore raincoats, because making heads explode is messy business. And when it's the boys, mess is the whole point. Fact 10. The comics are somehow even more insane. Think the show's extreme? The comics are unhinged, Homelander is worse, the Deep is somehow weirder. And Huey, modeled after Simon Pegg, who actually shows up in the show as Huey's dad. Eric Kripke said they had to cut the comics down just to make the show watchable. That's right. What you're seeing, the toned-down version. Let that haunt you. Fact 11. Frenchie's actor is actually Israeli and doesn't speak French. Tomer Capone plays Frenchie. And while he pulls off the accent, the quirks, and the charm, he's not French. Not even close. Capone is Israeli, and before the show, he spoke zero French. His accent, trained by dialect coaches, his lines, memorized phonetically, he didn't always understand what he was saying. But he brought soul to the character. The tics, the affection for Kimiko, the poetic rage. Frenchie may not be authentically French, but he's emotionally fluent in chaos.
Butcher isn't gonna like it.
Butcher can suck my shit. From now on, this is a democracy, huh? I say you one of the boys.
Fact 12. Kimiko's screams were designed like monster effects. Kimiko doesn't talk, but when she screams, it's unforgettable. Karen Fukuhara didn't just yell into the mic. The sound team treated her voice like a monster roar, layering in animalistic tones, distortion, and subtle reverb. Her shriek in battle scenes, closer to a velociraptor than a human. And that was the point. Kimiko is the show's ultimate contradiction. Silent, fragile, and devastating when provoked. A character who speaks volumes without a single line.
No! No!
Fact 13. Season 3's HeroGasm episode took a week to clean. If there's one episode that broke the internet, and maybe a few marriages, it's HeroGasm. A grotesque parody of superhero orgies from the comics. This Season 3 spectacle was a lot. The crew had to cover entire rooms in waterproof plastic, use firefighter-grade hoses for fluids, and apply dozens of intimacy coordinators for actor safety. It took 1 day to shoot and 6 more to sanitize. The aftermath? Let's just say no one looked each other in the eye for a week. Fact 14. Soulja Boy's costume was baked in real smoke. Jensen Ackles joined the cast as Soulja Boy in Season 3. Think toxic masculinity with a shield and PTSD, to give his suit that grimy, battle-hardened look. The costume department didn't just paint dirt onto the fabric, they smoked it. Literally. They took the fabric to a smokehouse and aged it with burnt cedar and ash, so it smelled like war. Ackles said the first time he wore it, he felt like a barbecue. But the look, perfect. Soulja Boy was cooked and dangerous. Fact 15. Homelander's milk scenes were designed as horror. Season 2 gave us a new side of Homelander, a milk-loving, mentally unraveling man-child. From drinking breast milk to gulping from a fridge carton, Anthony Starr made it disturbing. But what you didn't know? The milk scenes were scored and shot like horror films. The lighting turns clinical. The music becomes whispery and sharp. The camera lingers just too long. It's not comedy. It's psychological horror disguised as dairy. And Starr plays it with conviction, because nothing's more dangerous than a superhero with mother issues. Fact 16. The show was almost set in the Marvel Universe. No joke. When The Boys was first pitched, it was intended as a satirical mirror of Marvel's cinematic world. Garth Ennis, the original comic writer, had no problem spoofing characters like Captain America, Thor, or even Spider-Man. But publishers got nervous. So the characters were renamed. Homelander, Noirs, Superman, Captain America hybrid or A-Train, the Flash Queen, Maeve, Finance Wonder Woman, the Deep, Aquaman, but much, much worse. The studio knew they couldn't legally go full Marvel, but the DNA, still there. and far more disturbing. Fact 17. Stormfront was gender swapped to avoid redundancy. In the comics, Stormfront is a male Nazi soup, straight out of a World War II nightmare. But in the show, she's a woman, and that wasn't random. Eric Kripke said the gender swap was intentional. They wanted to disarm the audience. Viewers weren't ready for a charismatic, meme-savvy feminist to slowly reveal herself as a literal Nazi. That slow burn made it scarier, because real extremism hides behind relatability. By the time you're horrified, it's too late. And that, Kripke says, is how real-world fascism spreads. Fact 18. There's a hidden Easter egg in every Vought advertisement. Blink and you'll miss them. Every fake commercial, billboard, or ad from Vought has micro-references. A retirement home called Red River, Kimiko's backstory, a deodorant ad with Starlight Freshness, now with 10% more freedom. Or fine print reading, side effects may include losing your mind. The showrunners even created fully animated Vought product placements for brands that don't exist. Why? Because the world of the boys is saturated in corruption. Even the jokes are selling you something. Fact 19. A-Train's soup suit almost killed the actor. Jesse T. Usher trained hard for A-Train, sprinting, weightlifting, and cardio. But his biggest enemy wasn't Homelander. It was his own costume. The suit was made of heavy rubber and barely ventilated. During long shoots, Jesse's core temperature would spike. He even fainted on set during season 1. They eventually redesigned the interior with cooling packs and mesh layers. But the irony? The fastest man alive was almost taken out by sweat. Fact 20, det finnes virkelig videnskabelige artikler om the boys. That's right, academics are watching. Since the show's debut, dozens of university researchers have written papers analyzing superhero nationalism, moral decay under capitalism, media manipulation, and celebrity worship. Some papers compare The Boys to George Orwell's 1984. Others say it's the most accurate satire of modern authoritarianism. Eric Kripke's response? I just wanted to make a show where heads explode. Mission accomplished, and then some. Bonus fact, Homelander's Smile is based on the Joker and Tom Cruise.
All right.
You weren't imagining that unsettling grin. Anthony Starr revealed in an interview that Homelander's expression is a mix of two characters, the cold menace of Heath Ledger's Joker and the too perfect smile of Tom Cruise. The result? A man who looks like he's selling you insurance until he murders your entire family with a wink. Every twitch of his lip was choreographed. Even the teeth, especially the teeth. Because what's scarier than a psychopath who loves being adored? The Boys isn't just TV, it's a mirror, cracked, blood-splattered, and sometimes dipped in milk. It asks the question, what if superheroes weren't saviors? But brands? What if truth didn't matter? Only optics? Behind every cape, there's a contract. Behind every smile, a sociopath. And that's what makes The Boys so unforgettable. Because it doesn't just break the rules. It shreds them, sprinkles them on a sundae, and feeds them to a dolphin. So if you love diving into the chaos, smash that like button, subscribe for more unfiltered breakdowns, and tell us in the comments, which fact made you gasp, laugh, or rethink your relationship with almond milk? Because in a world of super lies, only one show dares to say, this is what happens when the heroes are worse than the villains.